And so it was the understanding that there was some work going on at the cemetery while the board was waiting to make a decision. And so, there was an order to stop that work until we can get some closure to this as to what the board is going to do. So that's kind of like where we are.
Can I speak?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Wasn't any work being done. It was a hill there where the city had been piling dirt up there. We only pushed the dirt down to flatten the land out to get the hill out. Then nobody contacted us about the meeting today that it hadn't been resolved, or else we could have been doing something else today. But my wife did get a call from Jaybird
At 1:30.
at 1:30, saying that the engineer was in New Orleans. Right? Not New Orleans, but on the coast. But on the coast. But see, didn't nobody call us and contact us? Or else, you know, just say this wouldn't be on the agenda today, so we would have knew not to come today. So we don't want to miss the meeting and just go forward and say, hey, well, y'all didn't show up for the meeting and rule us out.
That's not gonna happen, and the way we can take care of that now is that I'm from this podium directing the municipal clerk to contact you by mail and by email of the next meeting.
Okay.
And whether or not that is indeed on the agenda, or whether it's not on the agenda, or is on the agenda. And so that will happen.
Okay.
So both parties will be notified.
Okay.
And, we apologize to you, for the misunderstanding, that an action would be taken today.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mayor calls for the adoption of the agenda.
Yes, Mayor, before we proceed, I'd like to add an item into executive session concerning public works. Public works.
Yes, sir. There is an item that's to be added by Alderman Taylor relevant to, public works, which will be item, is it okay, Alderman Taylor, if I call it, item A1?
Absolutely.
A1, that means that would be first.
Okay.
We need a motion to add that.
I think he made one.
Who did the second?
Oh, the disco.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Tim Taylor, aye.
All right. Well,
Motion carried. Item added.
Also, Mayor, I want to add an item to the agenda.
Yes, sir.
In executive session, pending litigation.
And Alderman Esco wants to add an item under pending litigation. We will call that item D.
Yes.
Pending litigation. Item Esco, has made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Brown,
Tim Taylor, aye.
Motion carried. Are there any additional items? If not, the mayor will call for an adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm ready.
President readiness?
Yeah. The 18,
Item 18.
item 18, we stated yesterday that we would get a second quote on that particular project.
Correct.
We were going to get a second quote.
Yes,
As
yeah.
most of that, I think that we have hired, that firm to do those type of services for us. I know yesterday I spoke on that, wasn't aware that, Mr. Nicholson, we have already contracted them to actually do those type of work.
I think the issue was that we would ask for 2 quotes since it was $25,000.
So again,
I think the issue was that this board wanted 2 quotes since the cost by one firm was $25,000. So the issue was to see whether or not with the second quote, the price would be less than $25,000.
okay. Do we have anyone out there to do? I can't see.
Yeah,
You have
this
what?
install engineer, he said, yeah, Ed Jones is here.
Thanks, Ed, if you go ahead and get your additional report.
I'm working on the additional quote already, I'm contacting someone now on that to get a second quote on that.
So as we speak today, there's no second quote.
There's no second quote.
Okay.
We're working on that, contact someone to look at it.
All right.
We'll do the second report and see what we can, remove that from the agenda to the second report.
I'm sorry. I couldn't-
He said, that's fine.
Yeah.
Remove it until you get the second quote.
Okay. Are there any additions or deletions as it relates to the agenda? Okay. The mayor will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Kim Taylor,
Where is that?
Says,
That's right.
Motion carried. Item 3, the mayor called, asked for a motion to adopt the claims docket.
Put you on mute, sir.
Huh?
Put you on mute. Your computer will find.
To approve the claims docket.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Kim Taylor, aye.
Where is that?
Sam's aye.
Brown name.
That's right. Alderman Gilpin?
Your vote guilty?
Motion carried.
Yeah.
You get 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, that. I was late.
Is that for the road in the Kansas Cemetery?
No, this is for.
Claim docket.
He too far down.
He's trying to get
Tell him
there.
public break, he just do it.
The mayor will call for a motion to approve the payroll docket.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have a mo, all in favor?
Kim Taylor, aye.
Sam's aye.
That's right.
Where is that?
Brown name.
Alderman Gilpin?
Oh,
Sir?
we got it.
Motion carried. At this time, members of the board and members of the public, we have presentations. Ms. Barbara Brown, Ms. Myrtle Otto, Mr. Kawaji Singh. And the question, Mr. Taylor, we want to say the best for last? That is the best first.
All of them great.
I know they're all great.
Let's say the best for last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Myrtle Otto, will you step forward, please?
Yeah.
And Mayor, I'm going to speak on this Myrtle Alto.
Okay, yes, sir.
The council roughly about a month or so ago, and she wanted to rename William Street to Bill Bowman Boulevard. And I think we had been tying this along, myself, along with Mr. Taylor, to get with her and kind of go over, I guess, the plan or the distance, pretty much lay out what area in terms of what she's considering to rename Bill Bowman Boulevard. And I initially spoke with her about getting the petition together and have it signed by the residents in the proposed name change area. And she did write a note in description of, but I told her we needed the signatures of the residents who live in the affected area. But I also told her I needed to talk with Mr. Wells, because part of that road that she's proposing to rename, is in Ward 7. So I wanted her, along with myself, to sit down with Mr. Wells and go over the plan with him as well, since part of it is in his district. So that's kind of where we are as relates to Ms. Myrtle Alto. If you guys, if we can recall, she did come before us requesting portions of Green Street be renamed Boulevard.
Okay.
Recall.
If I may, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I need to ask Alderman Gibney for a telephone number to Ms. Alto. Okay.
What do you say?
You get it
No, we
later.
don't need it in public.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
I'll
He
get you.
asked for a phone number, he said he'll get it later.
Okay, so we're gonna table that conversation, I guess, until later.
Yes, sir.
And, I'll get in contact again with Mr. Weber, considering the fact that part of that ministry is in District 7.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
Mr. Gawaji Singh? Hello.
Fine, how are you?
Yesterday here, and she works across, she can explain.
Okay.
Well, I was planning on opening up a location, Cups and Espresso. I have a location in Ridgeland. I've been working there, for 13 years, and I've been owner for 3 years. And we just feel like to add more business to the area and bring in just more better business.
And
Oh, yeah, so, on this, if you did something like this, which is, I guess what I'm saying is, when you do a franchise store, with a convenience store, or with a strip mall, any type of location like that, how long do you usually guarantee you'll be there?
I've been at the location I'm at now 13 years, and we're hooked on to a convenience store, and we built from the ground up.
Right, and I'm very familiar with it, and I love it, but I'm saying, you've been there 13 years, Russ, it's been good.
Yes.
I'm asking you though, what is your dedicated, what are you guaranteeing him when he builds this?
As long as we're doing business, we'll keep our doors open.
we need to sign the lease.
Yes. When you franchise, you have to do it 5 years off top.
Okay, so you're looking at 5 years you would do, okay, good, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Everybody's looked at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alderman Esco has not.
Okay.
On this side.
Here you are, Alderman Esco.
Is this the one,
Yeah, right across from Trap Auto.
It's gonna be a convenience store and
Yeah.
a Cups.
Between the,
Yeah,
between the.
that's what they're proposing.
Yeah, between the square and the courthouse,
Mhm.
to the east of the county building.
Yeah.
Where, should be an additional place where people can go and sit on all sides.
Because he's in a block of those.
Yeah. That's when you go to court, they don't allow you to take some back off, they don't have to have.
Oh, correct, yeah.
Yep.
Do you have another copy of that, or?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Frida Ferguson.
Okay.
Frida?
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Yes, sir.
You can have.
Oh, we have this.
Yeah, I want a presentation, that's really nice, like that'll help with
Yeah.
certain things.
First of all, I would like to say to you two entrepreneurs and developers who have an interest in the city of Canton. I took a glance at that project, looks great to me. And of course, we welcome you to this city, as businessman and business owner. And, I think, steps that one goes through anyway, which both of you are familiar with as it relates to architectural and zoning and all of that. And so, I think that's where you start. I think the main point, it appears to me, to be a workable and reasonable business enterprise. And Frida Ferguson, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
As an entrepreneur, being in this business, being in any kind of business is hard.
Yes, sir.
For you to have been in it for 13 years and an owner for 3 years is congratulatory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a great business.
Hold on. Yeah, and I would like to, on the heels of what Dr. Tui said, likewise give the same accolades going forward. But here's my question to the gentleman. We have a lot of convenience stores in the city of Canton. And I know as time goes on, new things will come on board.
Right.
But the way of doing business should be new also. And I'm quite sure that you all will say from where you stand that you're community oriented. I think what this board would like to know, at least I would like to know, going forward, if you are community oriented, what are you prepared to give back to this community? Instead of drawing money out of it, what are you prepared to do? Now, historically, with convenience stores, now the dime is given back. Everything is always taken in. We have kids in this city. If you have a business, you ought to commit to something, to seeing the city grow, other than, I don't know what employees you will hire, I don't know. But basically, what I've seen in the past, in an African-American community, I see no African-Americans. So I don't know what your commitment is going forward. I would like to know, but if you're not prepared to give it, I can understand that, and I can consider the source also. So going forth again, I'm saying to you, with a new vision and a new idea, this board, or whatever board is sitting here, should look forward to these convenience stores and any other business that comes to Canton do business in a different dynamic. Everything is growing up around us. We need people who are going to be committed to our people here in the city, and especially the people who are going to spend money with it. And that will probably be 90% African American. There's no divisiveness here. It's just, I'm working on inclusion for the future. So are you prepared to make a statement? We have baseball teams here in Canton. What are you committed to anything from that particular point? And right where you're proposing your business is an apartment complex. What are you prepared to do to say today that would ease our nerves as to what you'll be doing in the future for this particular city?
On my half, I would definitely employ high school and college kids in the area, and we also love to donate to any recreational sport, and we love to get the community involved with the coffee shop, because the coffee shop is part of the community. Without y'all, it would be no us. So, and it's only a coffee shop, so it will just be younger youth that would mostly work. And starting out in something more easier than fast food is sometimes better for some kids.
I was gonna ask, just because I know some of the locations do, some don't. I noticed there's not a drive-through in this drawing, but would that be something you would?
Yes, one of the locations have a drive-through, and that's Madison.
Right.
We wanted a drive-through in our location, but by city ordinance, our lot wasn't big enough.
I got you.
So we have to walk up. But coffee takes a little bit longer, so a drive-through is not always.
Yeah, it is a little long sometimes. I was just wondering.
But at this location, I was promised a drive-through.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, we're waiting on Mr. Singh's response.
I'm not speaking for Mr. Singh, but you did tell him he didn't have to respond to that, and then you told him to
I
respond
am
to
speaking
that.
very
Yeah.
well English.
I'm sorry?
I say I was speaking very well English.
It's
so-
okay.
Yeah, it's okay, I can understand what you're saying, yeah.
But I doing the convenience store business. I just opened like last year in Carthage in the forest. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, you know, with most of your stores, you take quite a bit of money to the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that the board that's installed on the first will hear that and hold you accountable to your community preferences in your proposal today or your presentation today. And I understand you don't speak very good English, but, yeah. Okay?
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, there's a ceremony celebration with relevance in regard to someone who has dedicated her life to the field of education and the world of education and to this community, the Canton community, in the area of education. This idea came about as a consequence of it being presented to me by Tim Dick. And there will be two presentations today in honor of Ms. Brown, one specifically from the Alderman of Ward 5, and one from the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Canton. With that said,
That's when you got your good suit on. Put on something better.
Without
you need that
this,
podium move, Tim?
no, I don't think so. Yeah, we're good. Alderman Brown, if it were not for people like Miss Brown in my life, I wouldn't be able to buy this seat. And at this time, before I go forward, I'm gonna ask the Alder lady from Ward 4 to join me, and she'll read what's on this plaque. And while she's getting here, I just want to take this opportunity. She's dressed up too, got her arms out. You married, okay? But I just want to take this opportunity after reading all the press and hearing things on the radio, and this is connected to me in a very nice way. When I was 14 and 15 years old, this young lady came into my life. Many people who choose to teach can choose other occupations. They don't have to worry with other parents' kids, but she chose to do so for a very long time in her life. And for that, we appreciate it. Many years ago, Walt Whitman wrote that a teacher's influence is very important because they don't know where their influence may end up. It could end up in that mayor's seat, somebody taught him. It could end up in this Board of Alderman seat, somebody taught them. It can also end up in the attorney's seat. To get to where she is, somebody had to teach her. And also with the clerk here in the city, somebody taught her. So a lot of times we go on in life and we don't thank those people who made it possible. I graduated in 1981, and one of the stanzas in my class song said, "Lest we forget those who made it possible." You made it possible for a lot of people in 47 years. And as we continue to talk about her accolades today, Emily Dixon once wrote, and I quote, "You never know how tall you are until you are asked to stand. And for 47 years, you stood. And for that, we highly appreciate you. We love you. And I can't say no more than thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart." And along with that statement, we have a plaque to give you on behalf of Ward 5, on behalf of the aldermen from wards 1 through 7, and on behalf of that great class of 1981.
The City of Canton, Mississippi. The City of Canton, Mississippi would like to recognize Mrs. Barbara Brown for her unfailing dedication to the entire city of Canton. Mrs. Brown is responsible for some of Mississippi's biggest and brightest activists, entrepreneurs, professionals, and artists of our genre. The City of Canton recognizes that her 47 years of service, which transcended all cultures, races, and socio-economic statuses, was not a job, but a calling. We would like to extend our infinite appreciation for your labor of love and loyalty.
Thank you.
Y'all get closer together for me.
You want to say something?
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Hey, Courtney, put that in very nice color and blow it up.
I will.
The front page.
I will.
It's good for a politician to have some links to the press.
She wants to say it after him.
Yeah, come on down there. He may have a plaque for me. This is my last day, so he
My comrade and colleague talked about Emily Dickerson, and I want to mention a few words about William Henry. And he said, out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not went nor cried aloud, but under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but yet unbowed. Beyond this place, a wrath and tears looms, but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years find and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. You are the captain of your ship. You are the master of your soul. God bless you. And for and on the behalf of the mayor and the city of Canton and all of its aldermen, having been in the world of education for 47 years, meaning that we're looking at, help me somebody, 1974.
Exactly.
Is a long time. Right after Nixon resigned in 1972, and all of the presidents, including Ford and Reagan, that you passed through, and both Bushes, as well as Clinton and Barack Obama, that we all lived to see, and Trump, as well as Biden. You've seen a lot. You've learned a lot, and you have a lot to teach. You are a daily treasure of data and information, and for that we love you and we care. One does not have to really go to the library to extract data. Just go see Miss Barbara Brown. Yeah, when you have lived that long and you have passed through the 7th decade of this century, and you went through the 6th decade of this century, which was the most interesting decade of this century, you are a library. And so with that said, the city of Canton proudly presents this award of appreciation. I'm not going to say Barbara Brown, I'm going to say Miss V. Barbara Brown for 47 years of dedicated service to the Canton community and the Canton Public School District. God bless you. God bless America and the city of Canton.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that Ms. Brown, keep in mind Ms. Brown taught most of this board, with the exception of Lafayette Wells and all the rest. Truly.
Oh, man. I didn't work. We didn't, me and Brown didn't work.
Oh, yeah, and well, you honorary.
I wasn't born when you were great.
That's right. And,
You ready?
and nowadays she went to Melvin Jackson, so you know you
gotta
don't
quit
count.
talking.
We got jokes there already.
1, 2, 3.
We have a lot of praise from his Facebook.
Okay, great.
There are many thanks from Facebook from your past students as well. There are many praises and thank yous and congratulations from past students of different classes, 1981, and many more.
Many more.
86.
They're all saying congratulations and thank you.
First of all, I would like to say good evening to everyone. And I would also like to say, I would like to thank I would like to thank the mayor. I would like to thank the city officials and everyone who are in this room this afternoon for being here. I'm very appreciative of the service that you all have rendered or provided. And 47 years is a long time. But I enjoy doing what I was doing. That's one people's asked me, said, why did you stay so long? I said, basically because I enjoyed it. And I wanted to think that I was making a difference in the lives of many African American students or students in general. And I wanted to think that I was trying to help them for the real world. And I know you probably heard them say something to the effect that I talk about the real world all the time. Well, it is so real. And I have students who come back now and tell me that, Ms. Brown, everything you told us about the real world, it is so real. It is true. It is true. And another thing is this, even though I taught social studies, economics and government, but there were times when I would just stop and talk to my students about the real world, the things they was going to be confronted with, the things that they were going to have to endure. And I also wanted to make them become productive citizens of society. And I told them how they could go about becoming productive citizens. I said, okay, you know what type of life that you would like to enjoy. Therefore, you need to establish the career that is going to afford you those opportunities. And you need to be a part of the community. You need to be a part of the community. You need to be able to help others because someone helped me. I never would forget. I was in the 11th grade. Most of you probably know Mr. Hurley Porter. He told me, he said, Brian, you seem to be good at remembering dates. I said, yeah. And he said, you ought to go to college and become a social studies teacher. And that's what I did. When I went to Canton High School, Rogers High School, I went on to JSU and I became a social studies instructor. Then I came right on back to Canton. And when I told my students this, I said, look, I graduated at 18. I started teaching at 21, been on the road ever since. Ever since I've been on the road. And they said, I just can't believe 47 years. I said, Dr. Trues just said 74. You count 74, I started in August of 1974. And if you count up until now, then you know that's 47 years. But again, I tried to make a difference in the lives of the students. I tried to help them to become young men and young ladies because I wanted them to be productive citizens of society. That's what I wanted them to be. Because you never know what type of ball life is going to throw. But you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared because if you're not prepared, then you're going to have some rain in your life. And we all want to be productive citizens. So I'm not going to hold up any additional time because I could talk on and on. But I'm going to stop talking. But to make a long story short, I really did. I enjoyed teaching those 47 years. And then right here at home, in my hometown, because I knew everybody. If I didn't know you, I knew of you. I knew your parents, So there was some contact. Then one other thing, I also taken an interest in, I wanted them to be a part of the community and community activities. So I decided that, I said, look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to initiate a voter drive. So this is what I did. I just started vote every year, every month, every 2 months. I said, okay, who's 18? And I would register my students, And when I register them, I'll get the registration form, take them to the circuit clerk office, and in 2 weeks, the students will have their voter registration card. You know, and I tried to make sure that everyone who was 18 on or before they graduated from high school, that they got that registration card. And then we also, Mr. Cleveland Anderson said, Brown, you need to take them on to the poll too. So we started taking them to the poll. If it was an election year, we got on the yellow bus and we went to the poll. And I told them, I said, look, we're gonna take you this time, but after this year, when the election year roll around again, you will be in the adult world. You make sure you go to the poll. You take yourself in. So that's how we came out, that's how that ended up. So, again, thank the mayor, the board of aldermen, and everyone who was in attendance today. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Man, I wish you were my teacher. Mine needs some work. She's a teacher of a mother and 2 children as well. Class of
As it relates to item 6,
2006.
authorize and approve the task orders for the roads in Canton Cemetery. Do we have a second? All in favor?
Tim Taylor.
Well,
That's right.
Motion carried. As it relates to item 7, authorize and approve the task orders for the roads in Burke Cemetery.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
That's right.
well,
Taylor.
Motion carried. As it relates to item 8, authorize and approve resolution to open bank accounts for the fire funds.
Second.
All in favor?
Tim Taylor.
well,
That's right.
Motion carried. As it relates to item 9, authorize and approve budget adjustments for flood alleviation fund and an amount attached as exhibit. Do we have a motion? What was the attached exhibit, Lafayette?
It's the, to open the account for,
Now, the
the
flood.
flood alleviation,
Gotcha,
the $250,000 bond, I mean, that the state gave us.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh, okay.
I have it.
that's right.
I was about to ask that question.
Okay.
All in favor?
So move.
Second. I'll second.
Go ahead.
There's been motion and
That's an
second, all in
unreadiness,
favor?
Mayor.
Ma'am?
Unreadiness.
Oh, there's an unreadiness by Alderman
Guilty.
Yoki.
Now,
Yes, sir.
this money is from the flood alleviation. That is in the amount of what?
It's the amount of $250,000 from the state of Mississippi. It was some time ago, in March, when we received it, March 31st.
Did we have that money earmarked for something else as opposed to this budget adjustment?
Actually, we are putting it into the budget to take care of that something else.
Yeah.
What is this money to be used for?
It's replacing the money for the
The
car.
fund-
It's replacing,
This money that we're replacing that we had spoke of once
Yes.
before?
that's
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
That's
It's never
correct.
been put into the budget, Alderman Guilford. It's to replace the money for the $250,000 for the cars that we bought.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. Right.
But also,
There's an unreadiness,
I
Alderman
thought there
West.
was a budget adjustment for those 3 departments that we spoke of on yesterday.
They come.
This is one that Alderman West added at the end.
right. Clerk Brown.
Yes,
But
sir.
it was for the car, it wasn't for the adjustments on.
No.
What was from.
No.
No, sir. No,
Okay,
sir.
sounds good, all right.
Clerk Brown, you know, this particular money, you know, we got to give them account,
This particular money, it tells, I have a budget sheet says exactly what it has to be spent for.
Right.
I do have that.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'll get you a copy of it.
Okay.
I have an unreadiness, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
If I may.
Alderman Taylor.
And this money is the money that was, we got through our senator from the district. Is this the same money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All in favor?
Tim Taylor, aye.
Brown eye.
Well,
That's right.
Duke, aye.
Pen,
Motion carried. As it relates to item 10, authorize and approve budget adjustment for Park and Recreation Department in an amount exhibit, attached as exhibit.
Okay, what amount?
is that what, Alderman Wilson?
yeah, Mayor, may I speak?
Yes.
Motion,
There's a motion by Alderman Les Payne.
Okay.
And who did the second?
Okay.
There's a second by Alderman Rodriguez Brown and a readiness by Alderman Hoppy as well.
Yeah, that was information sent out today from Parks and Rec, and I think they requested, $80,000. He gave generalized statement. Mr. Davis, if he probably can speak more detail to what they're requesting, so we would know, as a board, what instead of just generalized.
Okay, basically, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, I was allocated, $10,000. 2019-20, let's start off with office supply. I was allocated $5,000. And cleaning, janitorial and cleaning supplies, in 2018-19, I was allocated $6,000. Now today, I'm allocated $3,000. In concession, in 18 and 19, I was allocated $10,000. 19 and 20, I'm allocated $0. Vehicles and parts, I was allocated in 2018, I was allocated $10,000. Today, I'm on in vehicles, with an old vehicle, 2 vehicles, $5,000. Fertilizers and chemicals, in 18 and 19, $10,000. 19 and 20, it went down to $5,000. 2021, I'm down to $2,500. Athletic and supplies in 2018, I was allocated $10,000. 19 and 20, $0. But then you did give me $5,000 in 2021. You know.
Go ahead.
Okay.
One question, Mr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
What was y'all's budget for this year? What was, I looked on the budget sheet, I think y'all had $411,000 this year.
Right.
Y'all spent that already?
Yes, well, basically, some of it was for chemicals and trying to do some things at the multi-purpose complex also too. And basically what I'm saying now, just trying to do more with less, even with vehicle and and that's why. And now with the mayor opening the city up, I'm just trying to get some money to try to carry me on.
Right.
I know I gave you a sheet that it may have been a little inflated on something, but I'm just trying to. With youth program going on now, with no one in concession stand now, they ask for water out there. I can't, do some things in there, and then with fertilizers and chemicals. Just spraying, trying to cut the grass with rain season, that brings a bad situation. And then also, fence repair, special events with youth activities, then senior citizens, and I just more or less put that off in there to try to do that. I can say earlier that with the pool supply, chlorine double went up. We'll get the pool open, but I need to just, and I just basically kind of put it in, and that's more or less where I am now. I'm trying to show you guys where the difference has gone. Even though I might have been general with it, but that's
right.
More or less on each line item you can see where a decrease has gone over the years.
So we're talking about 3 months left in this fiscal year, right?
Right.
And you're talking $80,000. You projected to spend that much per month?
Well,
Not per month.
Not well,
no, I can't say that. I can, but if y'all.
Yeah, 80 divided by 3.
So, but basically, with some youth activities coming on now, we're gonna do, we have some plans.
That's almost $27,000 a month.
Basically, I gave you the number, but I know it's still gonna be up predicated to how you guys decide to give what you feel that's comfortable. I do not know basically what you guys have left in taxes and things that you have received, but
right.
More or less, I just gave you a number that I could probably, but at the end of the day, I will try to stay within what you guys give me to try to, perform the duties that y'all have rendered me to be the director of
Right.
over the last few years.
We just want you to be able to function then.
Yes, sir.
So that, we could have been a little more specific, that's my only issue. Going down the stretch for 3 months and just putting a amount there, it's time, it's budget time again, so.
Yes, sir.
July, so we may as well get started, so I don't have a problem with, you know, funding you to the city, to fund what you need to, go to the next fiscal year, so.
Okay.
That was it, Mayor.
I have an unreadiness, Mayor. And this
Thank
is,
you, that's an unreadiness on the part of Alderman Taylor.
and I'm gonna quote, Alderman Les Penn, and Alderman Les Penn said one night in executive session, we've asked Alvin, Mr. Davis to do a lot with less.
Right.
And based on where he is right now, where he's trying to go, and what's coming to the city, I think he needs to be prepared, because the one thing that I hear him say often is that our young people need to be just as exposed as other young people, regardless of where we come from. So going forth, as Mr. Davis has said, that he's gonna ask for what he needs to be able to stay competitive and yet expose our kids to what, you know, because when they leave the city of Canton and go to a swimming pool, they're gonna be in shock based on the swimming hole that we have here in Canton. I hope some attention is paid to that going forward in the year to come, and especially with this upcoming budget. I dug out some things. Our fields look good, but when you look at the accommodations of people going south, it's almost as if they're in a professional league. The grass, the fences, and all that. And, of course, he can quote the fertilizers that he needs to, make this beautification go forward.
Right.
And for a gentleman who has worked his heart out, we could do even more if we can.
Right.
Look at it that way, because I'm telling you, I've been with him on occasions that he's had a tournament in the daytime, a concert at night. The concert ends at 12 o'clock at night. At 2 o'clock in the morning, he's out there cutting the field. That's dedication.
Right.
That's dedication. And that's what we don't utilize in this city, the people who truly dedicate themselves. And as I go forth, and I know I've been knowing him for 43 years, a very decent man with morals.
Right.
And I understand the concept that you don't get anywhere in life without someone helping you. Ms. Brown has just said that. We need to help out more. If we truly want to make a difference in our youth lives, we need to start right where it's needed. And so be it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other,
Yeah, I was just gonna ask
Alderman
you,
Sims?
if we meet you halfway, you think you can kinda
Hey.
tot.
I'm gonna do, hey, I would love for you, you know, give me all, but you know, if you meet me halfway in order for me to provide the service
Yeah.
for our constituents, the number one objective is my goal, as I always often told you, is to keep the people off you guys. So give me what I need, and I promise you, I've done that, and I'll try to do my best for what y'all give me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that being said, I'd like to make the motion to increase the Parks and Rec Department, their budget by 40,000.
Let me just, is this an emergency? Is he doing this because it's an emergency?
Yes, due to the fact of, by the mayor opening the city up, on something it has to be emergency because of, you have events going on and no concession going on, so I consider that as an emergency.
You declared it to be an emergency.
No, I consider that. That's a different word.
We understand. Yeah, we treat it as an emergency.
And then too, Mayor, even if he doesn't use all of it.
Right.
The retain amount it will go back into the budget for the next fiscal year.
Yes, sir.
So it wouldn't hurt even if we gave him what he asked for, but I think your motion will be passed for 40,000.
Yes, sir.
So even if there's need to be an additional adjustment, that the new board, if they look into it and they see it,
Right.
that they would make the adjustment needed if it needs to be increased as well.
Right.
But we can start with 40,000.
With that said, there's a motion on the floor as well as a second. It's relevant to item 10. All in favor?
Tim Taylor.
Unreadiness.
President Readiness. Alderman.
Why we cut this budget, I mean, he made a request, and I know he kind of, it was somewhat inflated, but to the degree in which Mr. Committee has calls on, these kids, why wouldn't we give him the full amount? And if he doesn't use the full amount, you know, so be it. I think it's best for them to be a reference to that.
I agree with that.
But the kids are our future. And here it is now, we have an opportunity to go through something with them that we've never been faced with before, such as this pandemic, all the uncertainties that these people are being faced with. So why would you cut that budget for it instead of giving it a
We have fiscal services, financial chief.
But I don't understand that.
Am I speaking? I'm not
I
speaking.
don't understand that, but it appears that we find these monies from everywhere, for everything else, but we're not investing in our kids. So the same restrictions and requirements that we're putting this thing through, Alvin through, no one else goes through this way. And I can assure you that once we get the public works and the land deal, we're not gonna go through the same scrutinization of the budget increase. Decrease for the most part. So again, from 80 to 40, and we're investing in kids. And it's very hard now for people to even accept jobs now because we're not paying enough. They won't go to work because we're not paying them anything. So Alvin, in return, may have to somewhat increase salaries or increase whatever because everything has gone up. And those are the uncertainties that we don't know. You know, due to that everything will probably increase and we don't even know.
Wait a minute, say something.
That's my readiness. So again, I just want to know, why would we not give him this full allocation?
One final statement, Mayor.
Sir,
One final statement.
the chair recognizes Alderman Lafayette Wells.
I don't have a problem with what they're requesting, but when you say you spend $411,000 in 9 months, that meant that you're spending about $46,000 a month. So if you're gonna drop from 46 to 26, you're gonna be short these next few months if you're spending continuously the way you have spent in the past. He's dropping down from almost $46,000 a month to $27,000.
Well, go out there and run Parks and Recs and see what you come up with.
Exactly what?
What he
said
said?
go out there and run Parks and Rec.
Oh. I won't respond to that.
Uh,
It doesn't call for responsibility. I mean, whatever this board decides, but I'm just saying, be practical, look at what we're asking. Well, like you said, if they don't use it, it'll go back to the general fund.
That's right.
So,
What's the last one you mistake?
He said, just like you said, if he doesn't use it, it'll go back.
if you need more, you can come back.
Cutting the full amount or cutting the four?
He said, are you gonna get the full amount, or are you still cutting it to 40?
Let's just give the full amount and be through it. If you don't need it,
Where's it coming from?
You said,
Clerk Brown, where's it coming from?
we're gonna have to sit down, Wells.
Yeah, well, look, you can't just allocate
I'm gonna
these
say-
funds.
I'm gonna say
Don't know
number- I'm
where
gonna
they're
say-
coming from.
If I'm gonna say this, when he said, so everybody's minds won't be, boggling, when he said 400 and something thousand, that's his entire budget, that
Right.
includes salary. It's not all in the 500 block, which
Right.
that he's asking to spend from. When he asked to spend from, he was allocated 172. So that's almost gone.
Okay.
So I think when you said 4, it made me think, it made me think I had to go back and look myself. That's including salaries.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So,
But you say he's out of money.
he's not that.
That's what was,
I gave it to you, and you got it right there.
okay, yeah, I hadn't looked at that, but they said, Parks and Rec is out of money.
Out of money in those
They don't say line item.
categories. I never said salary. In that category of program and athletics, I think maintenance.
Maintenance, I had maintenance,
Well, they should
cleaning,
have
janitorial
clearly
supplies.
stated that when they.
Well,
came up.
just
Fill out the chemical.
I did when I regular.
Okay.
Look, the question was asked, where's the money coming from? It appears to me that it's easier to find $40,000 than it is to find $80,000. I would think that with the next board coming up, if there's a need for the additional 40,000, those monies hopefully can be and will be found in order for him to function.
Right.
And so that's kind of like where we are. And so even as we speak today, the $40,000 is actually arbitrary because we don't know where it is right now. So probably the amendment to that motion might be predicated on the finding of funds. And we have to move something from one place to the other. Unless Lafayette has $40,000 sitting around somewhere.
Mama got that.
Oh. Look, all of this is left up to the board. I'm just suggesting that we should commit ourselves to Alvin. He does a great job.
Right, he does.
And, I think we can start out with $40,000. And I think that we can, accelerate that as we move forward.
Okay, check master attorney.
Sure.
So we make sure we won't
Yeah.
legally.
Every time, I always suggest, which I think I've done this in a memo before to you all before, every time you do a budget adjustment, it should always be like in writing, it should say from where you moving it from where you moving it
Correct.
to, as an attachment. And that's what I was asking, is it coming from Parks and Rec to Parks and Rec? Is it just coming from another line item in Parks and Rec to? No?
No, well, it wasn't enough in my budget from the get-go.
Well, look, it appears to me that we need to be committed to making these funds available to Parks and Rec. But it also appears that we need to know where this money is coming from and where it's going.
And that's
And
gonna
hopefully we can do that.
be,
Alderman Rodriguez Brown.
I was just gonna say, that's gonna have to be echoed over the rest of the items also, for
Yes.
public works,
Right.
landfill and the rest, because.
Yes, sir.
We don't know what these monies are to be pulling them and allocating.
Right.
And we don't even know if they're there. And the reason for a lot of that cuts were to save people, jobs.
Right.
It wasn't just arbitrarily cut.
No.
We cut that money to keep people in their jobs so people didn't go home. So that's why we in the situation that we're in now. We was trying to save people jobs at that point. So we found a way to cut in order to keep the people. We had to cut certain things, and a lot of those things is what he spoke of. And we did that to keep the manpower, so we didn't fire anybody. We've been wrestling with that for the last two administrations, actually, trying to keep the budget where it needs to be to run and keep the people who are here in their jobs. So it's been a battle for us to do such, and we've gotten this far, so we just gotta figure it out at this point, moving forward, how to continue to do it and really be better at stewards of the money.
Right.
And that's really the reason for a lot of the shortages, it's not us mismanaging it, it's us trying to keep the people in their jobs so we didn't fire anybody.
And like I said, the emergency, I think it fits into the statute because you have the fact that you had the pandemic and now you're opening up, so you
Yeah.
need the money. So
Right.
it does fit into the emergency statute, which you can do it, but
Only thing we need to find out where it's coming
yeah,
from.
your budget adjustment needs to have, that's why I put as an attachment, because yesterday it was just so open-ended, but your budget adjustment needs to have on there where it's coming from and where it's coming to, and it needs to be an attachment onto your agenda
Okay.
for it to be proper.
Well, why don't we consider this, if the board wishes to do, is have the finance committee find where that money is coming from.
Can we do this, Mayor, we go ahead with the motion that was made, the 40,000, contingent upon availability of funds.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that way.
That'll give you,
Right.
give you
Right.
time.
Right, so, you know, and if that's the case, then the motion's already in order.
Okay.
And
All in favor?
Tim Taylor.
Wells,
That's what
Pen,
That's unanimous.
All motion carried. Let me ask the board a question since we did what we just did. And the issue is whether or not item 8 and whether the other item should be the same way. That would.
yeah, 11, 12,
11,
13.
12,
And 13.
and 13.
Right.
Okay, can we do that in a bundle, Brad?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But we need to
What's
know
the
the
amount?
amount.
Yeah.
Amounts on each one.
Yeah, let's talk about the amounts and
Okay, well, we'll just pull it
how,
out then.
because I think we derive that where we are through different avenues. So I think Public Works and landfill derive that their deficit from a different avenue. And that avenue was the fact that those garbage cans and all that good stuff.
What is our public work asking, please? What is public work asking, please?
Mr. Garrett is on the line. He did not give me a specific number. He just sent an email that.
Well, he has to give you a number in order for us to act.
Mr. Garrett?
The entry would be, it's not very hard to figure out. We're 40, in landfill, we are 40,000 a month ever since we entered into a contract with waste management. So if we back that up to, the last 5 months, down 40. And that's the department along with the garbage can, as Alderman Gilkey stated, and the other extras for the picking up of rubbish. We would come to a total of about, make sure. I know it's way up there with the calculator, but.
About 300,000. About 300,000.
Yeah. Right at $300,000.
Right.
And then we had on several occasions where we were doing some good repairs. We did it out of our regular budget versus out of the flood money.
I understand. Well, let me ask the board if we can ask a question while you're there, Mr. Garrett. If there's a deficit of $300,000 as we speak today for the relevance of public works, what is the deficit in the landfill?
That was the landfill he was talking about.
That was the landfill?
Yes, sir.
That was the landfill.
The landfill is 300,000, and public works is what?
And what is your public works?
My public works is probably going to be around 150.
Probably closer to 200, so you're really talking about $500,000. I have no idea. At any rate, so, and we know that item 13 is about.
We put money back in public works when he said that they were supposed to went through flood, so Desmond went through and put everything that was in flooding back into, and they still short.
What have they spent year to date?
Okay.
You wanna know what you have spent year to
We
date?
have to table.
Yeah.
But, listen, what we're talking about, unless we want to make this a financial meeting, we may have to.
We can stop today.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
With department like Public Works and landfill, that maybe can work out at a later date,
Yeah.
because, you know, it's a little different from Park and
Parks and Rec,
Recreation.
yeah.
Right now, summertime, there's need
Right.
for activities for our youth.
That it started.
And landfill and public works may need something, but in landfill, that probably can be resolved next week or two.
Okay.
You know, after our budget meeting.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that the need it is great for them to be resolved. At this moment now,
We can table it.
so we can table those two.
11 and 12.
Yes, sir. And then until we work out a solution.
Give me a motion. somebody.
13 also.
Yeah.
And 13? Okay, and 13 as well.
Cause you want to find the money.
Question.
Go ahead.
We got invoices that we gotta pay the garbage company. We don't have no, it's not there.
Not there.
Well, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that. We may have to make a motion to put you in executive session, so. What the invoice is.
How many months are you holding, Melvin?
At least two.
Say 2 months of invoices.
I mean, we put them in, but it's on the red, with the red.
Have you passed that information on to you, Deborah? You know the total amount?
No, he has the invoices, he hasn't given them to me yet.
So you are unaware.
I am, that's why I asked him how many. He's I think it's 3 invoices that he have not paid. Let's get this straight. The budget is showing it's not there.
The money's there, the budget.
Financially, it's there.
Okay.
But we only have 45 days to pay invoices.
Because it's not in the
your
budget.
On your budget line, there is no money.
No, but somebody should let us know.
The proposed budget
It's
doesn't
been
have
coming to
it.
the board meeting just about
The bank
every
account has it.
couple of weeks. Melon put it on there, saying that he needed a budget. He's been getting up and speaking, saying he needed a budget. This is not the first time that this has been said.
Well, I understand what you're saying and I agree with you. But there is a difference when he echoes that he needs a budget. It's a different kind of a lending of an ear when you say you have a deficit of $80,000.
Now, I don't know why the bills never came to
And when,
Desmond to
when
pay.
you have a deficit of 2 months, that's more ear catching
So,
than it is of saying we need a budget. No, look, none of us, at any rate.
Well, you're right there.
Huh?
You're right, yeah, you're right.
It
makes a difference.
By law, you only got 45 days to pay it.
Well, it never made it to the clerk's office to pay it.
You gotta say
It never made it to the clerk's office to pay it.
It never made it to the clerk's office.
No. Alderman
Rodriguez Brown.
I know we did say that on paper the money's not there, but is it, where will we be pulling from to remedy?
Solid waste.
Solid waste. Yeah, we need to pay that right now.
But you know, I don't have the authority
To vote, yeah.
to pay it without you all, because that means that I'm allowing him to spend out of his budget.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, like you all jumping up, I am not a CFO. We do need a CFO, bad. But by keeping up with the finances and seeing what's going on, that's why I keep saying to Alderman Wells, when we need to meet. Because, haven't I said that as well? The budget committee needs to meet, I've said that. Because they're holding invoices because when you put it in the system, it's red, we cannot give a purchase order.
When you said they, I thought,
No,
Melon Garrett
we
was
can't pay
saying.
those out of their department. He has, their department, each department operates their own.
Because the bills go to the department, not to the
They,
city.
in his mailbox, they get their bills.
But we need to get a copy of them up here then.
Deborah,
Yes, sir.
you need to send an email out tomorrow from the mayor.
Okay.
No department head effective today is to hold any invoices. Period.
And one reason a lot of them hold those bills is because they're still purchasing without purchase orders.
That's not supposed to
That's
happen.
all a liability on the city.
Well,
I just have to
they,
say
you
that.
still have that going on, and
It's all a liability on the city.
constantly said that. And
Now,
all we can do is tell them,
That's
and we
enough.
tell them.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, yeah.
Into the seats.
We have to have a budget,
Yeah,
And then we possibly will have to have a special call meeting,
Yeah.
you know, to make that,
Yeah.
to agree to
Yeah.
that, just
we don't have to, we can get nice stuff.
yeah.
I've been begging for it.
immediately.
Well, apparently, and I recognize that, but apparently there's a breakdown in communication somewhere
Yeah,
because seemingly your cry did not strike an alarm. What struck an alarm was when Melvin said he's been holding invoices and we're in the red. And what authorized him to hold an invoice? And that goes for all department heads. Yes, sir.
When we said we're holding the invoice, when we put it in the system and it shows red,
Can't see.
the clerk is not gonna issue a PO for any next. And so the invoice is just not, it's not saying that we don't wanna pay the bill, but they ask the question, where you gonna get the money from if you're in the red?
Let
The
me
time that I have been before the council, I told the council that my budget could not sustain an invoice coming from West Canton of $80,000 a month. And we need to either get them to the table or do a budget adjustment. Because we're being charged more than we were being charged. That was my cry.
I understand.
Now,
I understand.
I know it just fall on deaf ears, but I also know we're waiting to get the people to the table to find out why we're paying so much more, when I think we already know why. Because we entered into 2 or 3 contracts that moves the price up.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this, Mr. Garrett. I understand everything you're saying. The fact remains that the municipal clerk is unaware of this indebtedness, period. And I understand all of the rationalizations and all of that, and we can be here until 12 o'clock at night. The point of the matter is that no department head effective today is to hold invoices. All right, what's next?
Okay, so,
We're making a motion to table those.
yeah, we're gonna table those items.
All in favor? Who did the second?
I'll do it.
who did the motion?
Let's go make the motion. Taylor made the second.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's correct.
Tim Taylor.
Well,
Motion carried. As it relates to, was that item 13 also, Daphne?
Yes.
Yeah.
As it relates to item 14, staff park finalize on approval on spending on funds left on the cap loan. What's left?
yeah.
Attorney Banks, put
Yeah,
that on.
I thought Mr. Davis had that right.
Yes,
On my record now, I don't know what, how,
You gotta go back. You got a special accountant? Is your accounting record different from that one?
well, I don't know how you pay the bill, I'm listening to so, according to.
According to your record.
According to mine, that's $35,000, because no.
How much?
$35,000.
Okay.
That's left
That's left.
on the loan.
On the loan.
Is it left to be spent?
To left to be spent.
If
Okay.
it was over that settlement, we did a great
Right,
settlement.
okay.
Left over.
Okay, I got it.
you mentioned yesterday that you didn't have any basketball courts yet, can you?
Well, the basketball court, you know, we entered an agreement with, Key Construction. Key Construction, and I think I just need to send them another letter stating that, you know, are they gonna, at least, let someone else, they want to do it in a planning process.
Why don't you do this, instead of sending them a letter, why don't you set them an appointment for them to talk to them?
Okay, then David, I'll send him another,
You just requested a point.
Okay, I will, I'll do
And the
that.
money is gonna come from this, that's what I was trying to ask.
No, I'm from the basketball court, no,
Oh, that's separate.
that's just separate. They were gonna take care of the basketball goal, the concrete, put their logo on the concrete, predicated from the letter that they sent when they came and said that they was gonna use it for. And, we just basically just
What
trying
do you
to.
need with the $35,000?
$35,000, I have some more playground equipment for the toddler down by the splash pad.
So you need approval to spend it.
I need approval to spend it. I know I had the playground guy come in on March the 2nd. You guys never did make a move on it, so I just had to wait on y'all to make a decision.
Okay, so I'll make that motion that you have the $35,000 to spend.
Okay, thank you.
Where's the $35,000?
It's in the loan.
And the cap.
That's in the loan.
We gotta spend it, yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
It's gotta be spent pursuant to state law now.
Yes, See, I'm sorry.
Gotta be spent pursuant to
Oh,
state
too many
law.
people talking, let me make sure I hear that. Hey, Fred,
It's gotta be spent pursuant to state law.
Okay,
So you need to decide where you want to, like yesterday, you mentioned the umbrella, that you needed an umbrella out there for somebody.
well, yes, on the umbrella in the
There.
playground, all that was gonna come in, on the package he gave y'all the, I don't have the, how it was gonna look, and I asked for that, so we was gonna try to make it move on that. Okay?
So work with.
Alright, I will.
$35,000.
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm fine, as long
Okay.
as,
Yeah.
as long as you're congruent to state law.
Okay, oh, well, hey, most definitely, cause Chad got a job to do.
All right, man.
I second what the mayor.
All in favor? As it relates to authorize and approve ceasefire agreement, cemetery and the pool. I guess that's cool.
On that, Mayor, they did not include the, phone, they did I told Dr. Rose that the pool you can't have a cell phone with Red Cross, you have to have a line over there, so you have, and that's why it was, immediate, miss, and so we gotta have to put a, telephone over there.
Telephone at the pool.
Pool, yes, sir.
All right.
Motion.
All in favor? Motion carried. As it relates to item 16, authorize and approve purchase of a Chevrolet Silverado, $1,500 for the fire department in the amount of $29,465 at state contract price. Do we have a motion?
Is that $29,000 per month? I forgot.
No,
That's
that's
total,
one
right?
purchase.
So,
That's just for the pickup truck.
Yeah.
It's gonna be lease purchase or it's
So this is straight out purchase.
straight purchase?
Is it budgeted?
Who made it? Yes.
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 she took care of the money.
Motion.
Who did the second?
I agree.
All in favor? Motion carried. As it relates to item 17, authorize and approve the purchase of a rescue apparatus and related equipment in the amount of $165,459 of the fire department and state contract price. Do we have a motion?
Lease purchase.
It's a lease purchase.
Lease purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah, lease purchase. He talked about this
Are you gonna bring
yesterday.
the agreement back for the lease purchase?
The clerk and you all have
It's already in your package.
Okay, you got it.
Don't have to go through the finance and all that.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Motion
Yeah.
That's what.
18 was removed.
Motion carried. As it relates to consent agenda, do we have a motion?
No, we should put that off.
Can we remove it?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Unreadness.
Gathering in readiness by Alderman Lafayette Wells.
Refresh me, and give me the, information on this BFAC, exactly what will they be doing?
Correct.
In all of anything, for instance, the ice storm that we just went through, where you were saying the communication was not good, where we was lacking, as soon as things happen in the city of Canton, once a signed person put it in, it will be text to everybody. Our fire runs, our police runs, CMU can be combined as well. Anything that happens in the city of Canton of an emergency, or even if we wanna get messages out to you all or anybody in the city, the texting will come straight to them,
Okay.
to everybody in the city. and it's 1,999 a year.
For a year, all right.
4 years. But it's City of Ridgeland, City of Madison, City of Byram, City of Vicksburg, they all use it. I sat with someone that I'm like, how did that, come? And it was like, they were off, and it was like a big fire, and it came straight to their phones. So it's anything in the city that happens, it's text to your phone or your computer.
Right.
Alderman,
just a moment. Alderman
It's in your
Fields
packs.
is requesting the floor. Yes, sir.
Is it me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, was this the young lady who basically came on, that spoke with us on Zoom on yesterday?
Yes, sir.
We heard some of the stuff that she was saying, but we have yet to even, I guess, get her credentials. It was just like she came forward and all of a sudden it's on the executive session.
No, it actually was in your pack, Alderman Gilkey.
I know it said it was part of my package.
And this is that was the third time that she's actually come, to us. It was actually passed, I just bought it.
There is a contract.
To come back. I actually passed under, Bolden's administration before, but I didn't want to play with that, I wanted to bring it back.
And let him know that that's what you need as city clerk.
And that's one of the things that I would need to make sure that the word is got out to everyone instead of you saying, I miss this person, they'll get it.
We do need to serve.
But what I'm saying is, it's kind of like, I heard it come before to yesterday, again, because from previously, it's almost kind of like, where did it come from? So if that's something that you're concerned with in terms of what you need as relates to the city, you should have been preaching to us in terms of what you need and let her kind of present it from that perspective. Because I got the impression that she just, present something to us, whatever, and we go on with it, not that we actually needed something.
Yeah.
So what do we have in place that's similar to that?
Nothing.
Well, now, if I may, Mayor?
Yes, Alderman Taylor.
Well, I was about to say the CMU does the same thing, text out, especially with the weather, but that's just confined to the weather. So, yeah, I can put weather, sewage, and things that, yeah.
Full water.
And I
Yeah,
don't
just
think,
CMU.
I don't think theirs is, when you said citywide, we get it, but I don't think everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this isn't really an agreement.
No, we don't get the agreement, that's just to let you know what it was.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna come back and ratify it.
But isn't the idea to notify the citizens?
I just don't
What the home center
Right,
or
right.
does the community get?
I guess you put that on your phone.
They're gonna collect the data.
It said up to 5,000 subscribers,
Yeah, 5,000.
but you got more than that.
Yeah.
So what?
No, it's-
Well, seeing you barely get 1,000 to vote, I bet you don't get 5,000.
Right.
So, I mean, 5,000 is probably plenty big.
No.
Maybe we can,
I don't want you to move out, I just want to, because now you're just giving us, well, me, per se, giving me an understanding of this is some things that's gonna benefit, us and you or whatever, because like I said, it's just almost like someone just coming out of thin air, and no one really said anything to her on yesterday about it, no questions or anything. So it just led me to believe that there's someone trying to get some, to provide a civil service, and they were not unsolicited for the most part.
Understood.
Well, let me ask Lafayette, Alderman Wells, can that be changed to authorize the board to enter into negotiation?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
5,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you don't have to, we just enter into negotiation.
Right, to negotiation.
No monies are exchanged.
Right.
Okay.
When I saw the number 5,000, I mean,
If you got 13,000 people right now, you can
Right.
take in the no post
what happened when you go past 5,000?
It was gearing to
Can we get a consensus?
all the departments of the city.
To me, percentage
It was not gearing.
Yes, can we get a consensus from the board to
No.
change item 14 to enter into negotiation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I make a motion to do that.
Well, hold on, sir. I'm waiting for the board to say yes, sir.
I make a motion.
He made a motion.
I'm just.
You made a motion, Alderman Brown.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, we can go on to the consent agenda. Who did the motion for the consent?
Motion, Jeff?
Pam. No, she did.
Who did the second?
Tim Taylor.
All in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Motion carried. As it relates to item
That's
20.
it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. The chair will call for a motion to go into, determination of executive session.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The mayor will now call for a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
y'all.
Hey, thank you.